Hey guys, so a little bit of nostalgia again, because you know me, I love nostalgia. So this is Feel the Fear. If you guys remember back on SNCC, when you'd be up at 10, 9:30, 10 o'clock at night watching Are You Afraid of the Dark, they would play this sometimes. Now, as a kid, I mean, some people got scared because of it, 'cause, you know, most of us were sitting in the darkness of our rooms with just the glow of our TV screens illuminating the room. So you're watching stuff like Are You Afraid of the Dark and stuff like that, and this pops up. Um, so yeah, I remember sometimes I would fall asleep with the TV on, and this would start playing. Not a good idea. Um, but we're gonna listen to it, and then talk about Are You Afraid of the Dark a little bit. We'll kind of go through, and because there's a lot of good episodes in here. That was the oddest pop I've ever heard. Um, so yeah, like I said, we're gonna go through because there's a lot of really good episodes that they feature in this little video, and let's just talk about Are You Afraid of the Dark for a little bit. So let me turn it down a little bit. Here we go.
I sort of died. Ooh, now you're giving me fear in the first degree. Make my mind lose control. I feel the fear right to my soul. I can feel, I can feel, I can feel, I feel the fear. I can feel, I can feel, I can feel, I feel the fear. Are you afraid? I got the feeling. Ghosts. I got the feeling. I got the feeling. The dark. Now you're giving me fear in the first degree, scaring me till I can't sleep. I pray at night my soul to leave. I can feel, I can feel, I can feel, I feel the fear. I can feel, I can feel, I can feel, I feel the fear.
Okay, so as you can tell, it was pretty good. I mean, it's so cheesy, but it's got 90s all over it. So we've got like an Evil Dead kind of setup, the quick walk. Someone they like knock over the thing that's sitting out there, the chair that's right there. So I don't remember every single episode because you gotta remember I was a kid, and while I did pretty much see every episode, I don't remember every episode in detail. Um, but obviously there are plenty of good episodes that really stick out. Uh, so this is like the first episode. Um, so it's the first introduction of Dr. Vink. Um, so the boys get lost in the woods and they find Dr. Vink's cabin. And in order to use his phone, they need to solve a riddle. And if not, then they pretty much have to go. Uh, but the riddle, it's not hard. It's pretty much something you can put into a barrel. You can't see it, but if you put it into a barrel, it makes the barrel lighter. It's a hole or air. You're not air, but a hole. Uh, but the cab driver, the one who finds him at first, they didn't know he's the cab driver, but he turns up that he's dead and that he was like the first of Dr. Vink's victims. And every night he's forced to relive his car crash over and over. And if he has anyone with him, they die too. And then Dr. Vink collects them and uses them as specimens for his research and stuff like that. Um, Hence the whole part here when I was talking about he said I sort of died. So he's saying he was looking forward and then he just turned his head around, said he hit a tree. Shiny Red Bicycle. I think that was the name of the episode. Tale of the Shiny Red Bicycle. Can't remember too much about it. I just remember the Shiny Red Bicycle. This one I think was like the whole Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of thing. The dude had like a limp and like a metal brace for his leg because he was in an accident or something as a kid. So he goes to Sardo's magic shop, and Sardo gives him a potion. And each time he takes it, he becomes more and more like a monster. But in order to get over into the more desirable part, you have to let the evil out of you first. So it's kind of like starts with like, things on his hand or something, and suddenly he becomes this full blown Jekyll like being. This one is one of my favorites, The Bookish Babysitter. Basically, this girl, he's the kid who needs to be he's the babysitter, and the girl has a bunch of books, but there's one that she has that's like, where they're all really special books, because every time you read one, you kind of get put into that situation, like it comes to life. Or in his case, he reads it and it comes to life in his house, but because he doesn't read the whole book from beginning to end, you have like 3 different books all being mixed up with each other, and that creates like these weird things things start happening. But it's a good episode. I really like it. This is in the dungeon where he thinks it's a little girl. The little girl's trying to pretty much capture the little girl saying, "Oh, I've been stuck down here," and blah blah blah. But it turns out to be the witch. This is from the is it Dark Music? The Tale of Dark Music. That one's pretty interesting. So the family doesn't buy the house, but they inherit this house from like their uncle, who they don't even know. The mother knows him, but everyone describes him as like this weird guy. But he was really fucking rich, and no one knows where he got all his money from. So the kid goes down into the basement, and he sees this old not stereo, but radio, and he turns it on, and the door starts to shake around and all that stuff. And it turns out like each time he plays music, depending on what the music is, he gets a different reaction from whatever's inside the door. Like one time the door will open up and he'll see red eyes, or he played music and this freaking doll came out, like this life-size doll, and it's like, "Come with me," and blah blah blah. He opens one and it's the carnival, and it's like, "Yeah, come here. We've got plenty of stuff here, and blah blah blah." And then the guy just turns into a skeleton and tries to get him. But then it's later revealed that there's a serious supernatural entity living in this little space, and that he can give the person anything they want. I think it was like, "I can give you anything you want, just like I did for your uncle." You only have to do one thing for me. So you basically have to feed people to this thing in order to get what you want. Um, Actually, the very end of it is the victim. This was the bully who kept chasing the kid around, and he didn't know the creature was gonna, kill or eat him. He thought he was just wanting to scare him, but the bully destroyed the kid's bike. The being in the closet ate him or killed him or whatever, and the kid got his bike back, shiny new bike. So he said, I can give you whatever you want, you know, just like I did for your uncle. That's how his uncle made all his money. So his uncle was a murderer. But he just said, you have to do one thing for me. So, um, laughing in the dark. Pick the right door and you'll go free. Pick the wrong door and there he'll be. One of my favorite episodes. Everyone remembers it because of Zeebo. Zeebo. Come on. Zeebo. Here we go. Zeebo. This is Zeebo. He looks like Ryuk a little bit. He just changed his hair to like a spiky black. He kind of looks like a Shinigami, especially with those eyes. He looks like he's got the Shinigami eyes. But this is Zeebo. So, Laughing in the Dark. One of my favorite episodes. Everyone remembers this episode. So, the whole shtick of this is this guy is in this haunted house, at an amusement park you go through. And then you get to this part, which there's several doors, and each one something different. It might be something stupid, like a papery looking skeleton, like back, and we're like, ooh, or you might run into this guy. So the kids decide that, they want to know what goes on in there, but they're too scared. So the one who is kind of like, come on, you guys are afraid of nothing. Says he'll go in and not only go in, but he will take Zeebo's nose. So he does. But then Zeebo doesn't like that very much. So they're at one of the kids' houses, and the one who went in there, his name is Josh, is making his friend Ouija. Yes, his name is Ouija. Ouija has to wear the nose for a week. So Ouija gets mad and takes the nose off and throws it off on the side of the house. They go back inside. Josh goes to get it, and he smells cigars because Zeebo, the clown who this was based on, smoked cigars. The backstory. So the Laughing in the Dark place wasn't the original. There was an original one there, but the clown called Zeebo stole the payroll for the circus, ran into the Laughing in the Dark ride, and the whole place went up in flames because of the cigar that he was smoking. Somehow something caught fire. He burned up inside of it. He died. So they built this Laughing in the Dark over the old one. So they say, oh yeah, his ghost is still there, and blah, blah, blah. And cigars, and smelling cigars. So he's on the side of the house, and he picks it up, and he smells cigars. And he goes back in, and then it pans over to the side of the house, and you see smoke, cigar smoke, coming from behind the house. And you're like, oh shit, oh shit. And then Josh goes back to his house, and his parents are gone. They went to like a museum or some shit like that. I can't remember. But he puts food into the microwave. His mom said like, oh, there's spaghetti and freezer and pudding in the refrigerator. So he puts the spaghetti in the microwave. He thinks he hears a noise, goes to check, comes back, and the thing is smoking. Like, you think the thing is burnt. Of course, actually, back up. Before he heard the noise, he had the chocolate pudding, and he dropped it on the floor. And then he went to check the noise, came back. So the chocolate pudding's still on the floor. He takes out the thing of what he thinks is spaghetti. He opens it up, and it's cigars. It's used cigars. So he drops that. It falls to the floor, and you see a giant footprint with a Z in it, in the chocolate pudding. So he runs upstairs, and then he gets a call like saying, "Give it back." So Zebo is looking for his nose, and then he gets another call saying, "If you won't give it back, I'll come up and get it." But in the meantime, he's calling Ouija, thinking that he's doing this. Thinking it's like, "Okay, dude, I'm sorry, I was scared. I'm sorry. Just if it's you, please stop." He's like, "No, that's not me. It's coming from in your house." And then you see outside the door, footprint, like a shadow of someone, and you're like, "Oh shit!" And then the door starts to open. The doorknob starts to move. So he jumps over his bed and locks it. And then Zebo like puts a balloon. He blows up the balloon under the door. It comes up, says, "Give it back," and it pops. So Josh jumps out the window into a raft onto it in his pool, and he heads back to fucking Playland. Somehow he managed to buy cigars as a present for Zebo. It's no hard feelings. I don't know what a fucking 12-year-old or 14-year teenager is. I don't know what it's like in Canada. I don't know if you're able to buy cigars there as a kid. But such a great episode. This one was The Tale of the Dream Machine, which is magic typewriter. You can pretty much guess whatever it types. First they dream it, and then when you read it out loud, it becomes real. So really not much to talk about that. I know which one this is, and I don't remember the name of it. And it's annoying. Yeah, this is when the circus dude turns into a skeleton and tries to grab him. This is Jake and the Leprechaun. So they're putting on a play. This guy is the one who's kind of putting on the play, and he's essentially trying to steal the life force or essence of Jake. It's a good episode, apart from the moment where Jake has to swallow 2 spiders. I mean, and this guy is considered a banshee, which banshees aren't male, banshees are female. So it's supposed to be based on Irish folklore, but banshees aren't male. And they said something about doing a jig, which they never did a jig. A jig is a dance. They never did a dance. So fucking lied. See, I remember this episode. I don't remember the name of it. Same thing. This guy is he's super young in the beginning, and then there's the machine that makes everybody older. And at the very end, he gets put into, gets stuck in the machine, and he turns into an old man. Same thing with this episode, especially because of this dragon. There was it's a school, and there was eggs being laid, and the freaking staff was in on it, and yeah, I don't remember the name of it, but they had the students under mind control, I think, and they were taking care of this thing. Tale of the Midnight Ride with Ichabod Crane, kind of like a Sleepy Hollow kind of thing. Pretty cool episode. I always love anything having to do with the Headless Horseman. It's just a really, really cool figure in, folklore. The Tale of the Frozen Ghost. This one's cool because it had Melissa Joan Hart in it, and we all know Melissa Joan Hart back in the day. We all had a crush on her. I think she was 15, so us having a crush on her back then, it was perfectly fine because we were all kids. But yeah, the kid just wants his jacket back. He was running from an employee of the farm that he would go over to, and he ran into a fucking log, and the guy pulled his jacket and he froze to death. Yeah, Midnight Madness, one of my other favorite episodes. So this is as you can see, this is a callback to Nosferatu. So it's a movie theater that isn't doing too well. Dr. Vink shows up and says that he can change everything. All he has to do is just play certain movie, and people will come flocking to it. All he asks that if when the thing, it succeeds, all he asks is that he gets to play his movies one night a week of the manager's choosing. Sounds like a pretty good deal. But no, the manager, being a fucking sleazeball, just nope. So pretty much Nosferatu here uh, kind of wreaks havoc. Not on a lot of people because it's only 3 people, um, but it's pretty much because the guy went back on his word. So, and then at the end, turns out that Vink bought the cinema so that way he can play his movies all the time. All his movies, and he said there's ones that are even better than this one. And these ones, when you see it, it's really cool because this is the kind of movie it's portrayed as it's one of those older movies. There's no sound, it's just a silent film. But the vampire wins. And that sounds like an awesome thing because I've said this before. I love down endings. I love where the good guy fails. I love seeing the bad guy win once in a while. So having the vampire win in the end, but of course, he comes out of the screen, which gives one of the employees the idea of, oh hey, wait, if he can come out, maybe I can go in there. So he goes in there. Nosferatu follows him in. He pulls off one of the blinds, kills Nosferatu. But Dr. Vink was waiting the entire time and watching, and he's like, "Oh, good show," and blah blah blah. But really cool, like just this imagery, just this gangly, thin creature just slowly moving up and down the stairs, wrapping his long, slender fingers around the corner of, the walls. Oh my god, I love the imagery. Tale of the 13th floor. 2 kids, one's adopted, and they get a flyer or a letter in the mail saying that there's a toy factory now on the 13th floor, and they're invited to come during any time of the next day. Basically, they just end up being like these faceless, Slenderman-looking alien people. And then at the very end, such a great reveal, and it's all in one shot too. But I'd definitely say look this one up if you have a chance, because that reveal, like I said, it's one shot. You see both of them, and then they move over to the boy, just as a close-up, and then they pan back to the girl, and then it's that reveal. So it's one shot, no cuts, no nothing. It's just such a great shot. The Midnight Ride. Yeah, I love that. Back in the day, the effect of him coming out of the wall in like this fiery sort of shadow type thing. I mean, it was so cool. And this is the stand-in for Ichabod Crane, which he meets Ichabod Crane at the very end, in a ghostly form. But the Headless Horseman, like I said, I love the Headless Horseman. Got Voldemort over here. I think this one's called the Magician's Apprentice or Assistant, or something like that. Basically, like this stick right here is like the wand. It's very powerful, and this guy tried to get it. Nosferatu again. Yeah, you can see it's definitely a Nosferatu kind of thing. We got Xerxes here from 300. God King. Not really, though. Got the Ichabod Crane one, the Midnight Ride. Basically, when he gets over the bridge, the Headless Horseman can't get over this bridge. And then when he does, just bursts, he just disappears because he's not allowed to cross this bridge. So, I forget the kid's name, but the stand-in for Ichabod Crane had to make it all the way to this bridge, across it, so that way when the Headless Horseman came after him, he would just disappear because he can't cross the bridge. From the Dream Machine. This one I did remember, but I don't remember like really anything about it. I remember seeing it, and it feels like it's one of those that you would see all the time. Uh, I think we missed one of the bigger ones. One of my other favorite ones. I feel fire. Uh, yeah, I know we missed one because I remember them shipping eyes. I think this one was The Lonely Ghost. The girl, like, it's you can see it's all backwards and stuff like that. She's like inside the mirror or something, and the family thought the mother thought she disappeared, but she's really been in this house all along, and they're reunited at the end. And then there's, like I said, there's this image, this long, slender fingers slowly making their way around. It's so fucking good. But yeah, this one, if I could find that other freaking picture, other image of it, it's from the episode called Super Specs. It's a really cool episode because it kind of shows Sardo as the fraud that he is. So they go to Sardo's shop, and the guy, his name is Weeds. Yes, his name is Weeds. And he's trying to get stuff for April Fool's Day. So he gets like this um, magic powder, and he's trying to use it, and he gets it on these specs. Um, and the girl puts him on, and she sees like this shadowy figure. It's really just some guy in like black clothes and a black mask type thing. But it's supposed to be passed off as a creepy, otherworldly type thing. She takes it off. She doesn't see it. She puts it back on. Sees it. And it's that way throughout the episode. And she starts seeing a woman, veiled woman holding a book. And we find out that what happened was the spell was for the second sight, so she's able to see into this alternate universe. Like she's opened this window, and now these beings are, Earth, their Earth, and this other Earth are pretty much fighting for dominance. She goes back to her house, and she can tell that there's something wrong because she puts on the specs, and she sees a pot of water boiling, a kettle steaming on her stove. She takes them off, but there's no kettle there. But in the other universe, there's a kettle of water steaming on the stove. She over at the fireplace, same thing. There's nothing going on in her universe. She puts on the specs. There's a nice roaring fire in her fireplace. So, she goes to Sardo, and he tries to fix it. That's when they find out about this alternate universe type thing. And he says he can fix it, but he needs the powder. So they end up doing this whole thing. And they try to fix it. But while they're doing it, she puts on the specs and she sees just a swarm of these faceless, shadowy figures. But Weeds is pretty much like, yeah, you don't need them. Take them off. Take them off. I can see them. And then the realization is that they're being swarmed by these beings from the other universe. And then we see these two big eyes appear and saying that, you've tampered with the cosmic seal, and that they had to set things right and this and that. And then, it gets all windy and this happens. She gets back to her house, and the veiled figure pulls off the veil. It's a woman and says that, the window was open, but, it's fine now. She closed it. The cosmic seal's been kind of like reset, and everything, put back in place. And then Weed says something like, so it's over and all that. And then in the same deeper voice that they heard from the eyes, it's like, I don't think they'll be bothering you anymore. And then you see them screaming in the little crystal ball that Sardo had. So essentially, same thing, down ending. You had two universes fighting for dominance, and the alternate universe won. They were trapped. I mean, I love down endings like that, especially in a kids show. Um, I love it. I love when the freaking good guys lose. Let's see if I can get a good one of. Probably won't be able to. Hang on. Okay, so this was the best thing I can find. Uh, it's basically like this person just kind of doing it. So, beings around us all the time. So here's the beings, West Philadelphia, born and raised on the playgrounds where they spend most of their days. I like how even the basketball is black. But yeah, these are supposed to be the other worldly beings. They're looking it up and seeing that she has that the specs now have the power of second sight. He's about to flush it. Send them back. Send them back. It's a great episode. It really is really, really cool. The window. Send them back. As you can see, and then that's when she puts on the specs. But I can see them with the specs. And then, it's like, you don't need them. I see them too. Sardo continues to do this, and then this is where the woman shows up. So you've tampered with the cosmic seal. Two universes cannot exist from the same plane. Balance must be restored. So you think, okay, this woman, or rather at this point, this being must be some benevolent being just trying to keep peace and order in the universe, trying to set things right when they go out of whack. You open a window to a parallel universe. There's a parallel universe inside my house. Yes, but I close it. They're just describing them as the other universe Sardo, which, I mean, it's more powerful than Sardo, really. So the funny thing is, they were trying to get rid of you too. And then I don't think they'll be bothering you anymore. And then you get the ending. They lost. I love it. I don't know why I love down endings. Oh, yeah, Captured Souls. That's the name with the dude who's like really, really young, and then at the very, very end he becomes really old because he's no longer able to harness souls because the machine is broken. But yeah, there's so many freaking good episodes. Let's see, what's another good one? Dangerous Soup. One where Dr. Vink uses like fear, like he's able to liquefy fear, and he puts that into a soup, and it becomes like this hit, and people want to know. So he has like this gargoyle that he puts people in front of, and he's like, it knows what scares you, and fear will be created from that. It comes out and it just drips out. And the more powerful the image, when the more you're scared, the more potent the fear, and the better it's going to taste. So he has a way of harnessing fear for his soup. The Curious Camera, and I think he has what's his name from American Pie. I can't remember his real name, but he plays Finch. So it's weird seeing him. There was a lot of famous people. You had that dude. You had Ryan Gosling in Are You Afraid of the Dark? Was Alicia Cuthbert. What's her name? Hang on. Yes, this sexy thing right here, the girl next door, Alicia Cuthbert. Yeah, she was part of it. So there were a lot of famous people that were in Are You Afraid of the Dark? If you go back and watch it. But yeah, so let me know your favorite episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? Um, there's another one I like. I forget the name, but it's like a genie one where there's like the girl who she's not actually a genie, but she made a wish and got stuck inside the box type thing, and she ended up being the genie until she found a way out. And that one's pretty cool. Freaking Gilbert Godfrey was in one. I think it was like the Tale of Station 109.1 or something. Basically, he's like sends people to the afterlife, and I think Ryan Gosling was in that one, or maybe it was another one I'm thinking of. I know Ryan Gosling was in one. A few of them, if I recall. But yeah, Gilbert Gottfried in Are You Afraid of the Dark? That's fucking hilarious. Uh, yeah, there's so fucking many of them. There's so many episodes. Tale of Cutter's Treasure is a two-parter. So many. But yeah, let me know your favorite episode of Are You Afraid of the Dark? And did you prefer Are You Afraid of the Dark? Or were you a Goosebumps person? Or did you like both? Both of them had a good equal of, the good guys winning and happy ending, and just complete fucking downers. You know? But anyways, that's gonna do it for me. All that stuff below. And you guys know the drill. I'll see you guys later. Bye guys.